guys, we are ready to go to start our hike in Ciudad Perdida. Now we are going to take this ride to go from Santa Marta to the checkpoint.
The ride took us just a little bit more than an hour to bring us to the trekking checkpoint.
We are now in our first checkpoint. We will get all the document check and also get our permit. And now it's time to relax for 15 minutes.
All necessary documentation had been pre-arranged by Tayrona, our tour operator. Afterwards, we got this Ciudad Perdida bracelet to be worn during the whole trek. The trek to Ciudad Perdida is regulated, and the only way is to trek with an official tour operator such as Tayrona.
Well, it's a bit difficult to see, but over there behind the clouds is the Pico de San Cristobal Colon. It's the highest peak in Colombia at over 5,600 meters high. And to get there, you actually take like 10-12 days of trekking, and it's all part in the Parque Natural de Sierra Nevada, which is also where the Ciudad Perdida is located.
A beautiful mountainous jungle view to introduce us to the terrain that we will tackle in the next days.
We are now in Machete below and it's time for lunch. I'm hungry.
It was noon already, and the lunch was served in the local restaurant there in Machete Pelao.
We're going to start the trek.
Before the walk, our guide briefed us on the trail that we would walk over the next 4 days. And let the walk begin.
We are now starting our trek to Ciudad Perdida. We will do this trek in 4 days and the total distance will be 62 kilometers. Wish we luck. So in this road we will pass 3 different types of
Areas.
The farmers, the national park, and also the indigenous reservation. So this is our guide, Andres.
Hello. You're the translator.
The translator, sorry.
He's the guide.
Our real guide. Bueno. Not even 1 hour. Sweating like hell.
The tropical heat made the walk so much more difficult, and everyone was simply drenched in sweat.
Our first resting place. It's a beautiful place, but I'm tired.
Lush mountainous rainforest as far as the eye can see. Such a wonderful landscape of the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta. We continued our walk and we passed some small settlements with farms, indicating that we're still in the farmers' area. Time for second break. We absolutely needed it, and some time to enjoy some fresh delicacies.
Cheers. Daniela, are you alive? Cacao with honey.
We continued further, and it was the first time we saw an indigenous person casually riding his donkey.
This is day 1 and we are about halfway. And by the way, this should be the shortest hike during the whole trail. But I'm already dying.
From this point onwards, we officially left the farmers' area, going deeper into the jungle. We also noticed that even in the jungle, the trail was very clear and it looked very well maintained. Here in the jungle, the donkeys are the taxi and truck for the locals, as well as for the tourists actually. The more we walked, the more we appreciated the nature surrounding us. There are still communities living in a remote place like this, meaning some facilities are needed, like this one.
This is a school for kids around here.
A very simple school, but it's enough, right?
In this trail we saw some indigenous people, but we could not take their pictures nor their videos without their permission. But anyway, we learned a lot of new things today. So these indigenous people, the leader of these indigenous people, usually has a hat, and this hat has an illustration with mountains or river, something similar to the maps, and everything is made of cotton. And by the way, these leaders were chosen since they were 9 years old, and they are candidates, but they have to learn more and more and more until they can rule the society. And the learning process can take up to 20, 30, 40, 50 years until they are ready.
The trail leading to the Ciudad Perdida is not maintained by the government, by the tourism board, or by the indigenous people, but rather by the tour guide themselves. And they're also doing like a sort of a yearly cleanup to make sure that the trail is ready for all the visitors.
We are getting closer to the camp!
Oh man, we were just so happy to make it to our first camp, Cabana de Adan. This is a small settlement in the jungle, but now it mainly caters to the tourists during the trek to Ciudad Perdida. And surely, not long after that, the trucks of the jungle arrived to bring some supplies to the camp.
We made it to the camp! And now we are going to go to the natural pool!
After the hard first day walk, it's time to play and have some fun in the water. A small walk away from the camp, you can find this little paradise. And there is only one way to properly enjoy this refreshing pool. Jump! This pool was definitely the perfect reward to finish our first day walk to Ciudad Perdida.
So we are now in the campsite that's owned by Ruth. She's actually born and raised here. And by the way, she's the first woman guide, right? In this whole Ciudad Perdida trail. An honor to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Bienvenidos.
Well, thank you.
This is going to be my bed for tonight. Mosquito free.
Dinner time with the group. It was delicious. Afterwards, we got some explanation from Ruth, our guide, about the culture of the local indigenous people. We learned that the coca leaves are very important and sacred for them, and there are actually many coca trees growing in the area. And we tried it for the first time as well. Spoiler alert, it was very bitter. And Ruth showed us this weird looking object called poporo, which is actually the most important object possessed by an indigenous man, indicating his maturity. The object is actually used in an intriguing and interesting way, which we would later learn in the second part of this video.
Guys, we are playing Hornoxen or Sex Nim in Colombia. Wow.
It was a very fun card game, and we learned about it long time ago from our German friends. We were just surprised that we would play it here in the jungle of Colombia. Who would have thought?
Now it's time to go to bed. We're already inside the clambu, inside the net, in the bed. And have to wake up super early tomorrow. So, night. Good night, Em.
Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night, everyone.
The next day, we are ready to continue our adventure deeper into the jungle. We got to learn more about the area and the interesting indigenous culture directly from the source. Stay tuned and follow our journey in the second part of the Ciudad Perdida trek. See you!